Maybe Jon Stewart doesn't know anybody who died from fentanyl. Maybe Jon Stewart doesn't know any of the women who were sold into slavery. Maybe Jon Stewart can help us find one of 325,000 unaccompanied minors who've gone missing. Thinks this is funny? This is a joke? To twist where Donald Trump is coming from? Do you realize how irrelevant this guy is? Do you realize how irrelevant the phony corporate media are in this country? Do you realize how irrelevant these people are? That they were defeated. This is why he's angry. This is why he's upset. This is why he's dressed like he's going to a funeral, this guy. Let's go to Jon Stewart, a.k.a. John Leibowitz. Yes, John Leibowitz, that's his real name. He's on The Daily Show. This guy pretends to be some kind of intellectual. Based on what? Did he bang his head or something? He also pretends to be a comedian. Based on what? Not based on a lot. And then I notice when he debates people, he gets in their face and he yells at them like he's a tough guy. Tough guy like Joe Biden. He's a shrimp. No offense. I was a tough guy. I mean, I didn't go out looking to hurt people, but I never stood down. I'm telling you the truth. And they never called me popcorn either. They called me Mark. Nonetheless, this guy's a nobody. I know these weaklings. But that aside, he's on Comedy Central, and he's not funny. It's like the comedians at night. They're not funny. They're a joke. It ought to be called Joke Central. And there he is doing The Daily Show, and of course, he's very upset. His Kamala lost. Can't understand why. Why? Kamala lost. Why? Because you're out of touch, you jackass. That's why. Let's take a listen, shall we? Cut 5, go.
Here's what we know, is that we don't really know anything, and that we're going to come out of this election and we're going to make all kinds of pronouncements about what this country is and what this world is. And the truth is, we're not really going to know shit.
Oh, we're not? Oh, I'm sorry. We're not going to really know anything. You see, because his candidate lost and our candidate won, we're not going to know anything. These are people who disrespect you and disrespect the process. If Kamala Harris had won, some of us say, okay, the country's done. We know it. We understand. It's not like we don't know something. We do know something. And so he says, we are not like we. He means he maybe, but not we. We're not going to know anything. Because Saint Kamala, Angel Kamala lost. And there's Donald Trump, who we hate. Donald Trump won. Go ahead.
And we're going to make it seem like this is the finality of our civilization and this and thing. We're all going to have to wake up tomorrow morning and work like hell to move the world to the place that we prefer it to be. And I just want to...
In other words, to try and destroy the Trump presidency, to double down on this stuff that is tearing this country apart. They will not accept. You know, it's funny. They talk about you won't accept the transfer of power. They will not accept an election they lose. They're the ones, the insurrectionists. They're the ones who tried to stop Trump from being president of the United States. On the floor of the House, when they were having a count on the Electoral College vote. Beyond that, right out of the box, when they were plotting an impeachment, when the committees were given assignments, under the Democrats anyway, to issue hundreds of subpoenas against family members and so forth, the horrendous activity that was taking place targeted on Donald Trump. And it goes on and on and on. They don't accept the outcome of the election. Let me tell you a little secret. They're not going to accept the outcome of this election. They're not. They didn't accept the outcome of Ronald Reagan's election, which was one of the most massive, in 80 and 84, massive landslides in American history. They didn't even accept the outcome of George W. Bush's election. They went after Romney. Goes after Romney. It's pointless, but they went after Romney. They went after McCain, who was one of them. Not in every respect, but in some respects. So if you're a Republican, you're the enemy. Because why? It's the monopoly party, the Democrat Party. They don't want competition. They want power. Go ahead.
Just as a matter of perspective, that the lessons that our pundits take away from these results, that they will pronounce with certainty, will be wrong.
Yeah, well, what about you, clown? What about you're a pundit? You're a pundit with 10 comedy writers. And you're always wrong. Go ahead.
And we have to remember that. If you're in 2008, when Barack Obama won,
there's no question that this is the beginning, the first election of the future, really. And I think we are moving towards a post-racial America.
Yeah, that lasted a day.
Well, first of all, this country, but for fools like him, Democrats in the media, professors, Democrats in Congress, certain ethnic front groups. What would they do without racism? What would they do without the allegation of racism? There'd be no 1619 project. There'd be no CRT or DEI or ESG or ABC or XYZ. There'd be none of them. And so there's always got to be victimization. In the greatest country on the face of the earth, the most beneficent country, the most diverse country on the face of the earth, where specifically people who are minorities, whether skin color, whether other physical aspects and characteristics, whether faith, this is the place to be, the United States of America. But with these clowns on the left, everybody's a victim. Not everybody, but you know, certain privileged, focused, targeted organizations or individuals, they're all victims. Go ahead.
And then, of course, in 2012, Obama won again. And the lesson was...
The GOP needs to send a powerful signal to Hispanic voters that the party respects them.
That was the lesson they learned after that victory. And they were certain of it. And send a powerful signal to the Hispanic community, the GOP did.
When Mexico sends its people, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Which apparently was the winning message.
You see how that plays? Why don't you play the part where Trump says people can come into this country, we need people in this country, but they have to come in legally. Is there anything Trump said there that's inaccurate? Maybe Jon Stewart doesn't know anybody who died from fentanyl. Maybe Jon Stewart doesn't know any of the women who were sold into slavery. Maybe Jon Stewart can help us find one of 325,000 unaccompanied minors who've gone missing. Thinks this is funny? This is a joke? To twist where Donald Trump is coming from? Do you realize how irrelevant this guy is? Do you realize how irrelevant the phony corporate media are in this country? Do you realize how irrelevant these people are? That they were defeated. This is why he's angry. This is why he's upset. This is why he's dressed like he's going to a funeral, this guy. Go ahead.
And that taught Democrats in 2016 what?
Maybe what the Democrats will be looking for is somebody with some inside experience, but who's a generation younger.
It's obviously going to be younger. It's going to be from a new generation.
Need I say it?
It's a great honor and humility. I accept this nomination.
And that turned out to be a winning message again, which led to an insurrection.
It's never an insurrection. I'm never going to accept that term. They can lie all they want. I know what an insurrection is. I know what the law says it is. I know what history says it is. It was not an insurrection. Trump wasn't charged with an insurrection by this crazy, wild prosecutor who's charged him for all kinds of crimes, jaywalking and all the rest. No, that's not an insurrection. You want to see an insurrection? 2020. When a courthouse was under attack for 60 days straight. You want to see an insurrection? When a police precinct was burned to the ground. You want to see an insurrection? When a governor withholds the National Guard from protecting the citizens of his biggest city, Minneapolis, even though the mayor's begging him to send in the National Guard. That's an insurrection. Go ahead.
When Donald Trump leaves office on Wednesday morning, he will leave Washington a pariah.
Donald Trump will never be allowed to set foot in the Capitol again. Never.
Ever. My point is this.
Yeah? The point is he's an idiot. He has no point, and he's very upset that he lost the election. Very upset. And you want to know the truth? I'm thrilled that he's upset.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.